Your name, sir?
Clarence Tucker.
All right. Counsel,
Your Honor, this is his motion to set aside the default judgment. We did attempt to discuss, but we have no resolution, Your Honor.
yeah, what, you filed a motion to set aside the judgment. And you say see attached. What's your good cause? Why weren't you here?
Yes, Your Honor, I had back surgery.
What day? What day?
It was on, it's April 28th, but it was first scheduled for April 21st. And I have a letter tank showing that. And so, and then
I signed the judgment April 24th.
yes,
I'm asking you why you didn't appear. Why weren't you here? Did you call the court, say, hey, listen, I've got a problem, I need an adjournment? Did you file a motion to adjourn? Why weren't you here?
I wasn't here
Your Honor,
because of the,
Yeah,
if I may, it doesn't look, and I apologize, I was in a breakout room checking someone in, but I don't show we ever had a court date on this. It was a default failure to answer.
I see.
And now
I'm
he's
sorry,
filed
I
the
just
motion.
got back in town last night and I'm sorry, I'm a little out of sorts this morning.
That is correct, Your Honor. It looks like there was a default sum certain for failure to answer the complaint.
What day was the service process effectuated?
Your Honor, the proof of service says it was served.
April 1st, I believe.
April 1st?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And the complaint, the civil complaint filed in this case was for past due rent. Is that right, counsel? Ms. Ellis?
Your Honor, this is this post move out security deposit dispute.
Right.
It actually stems from, there was a fire in 2024 in his kitchen due to, I think, a cup on the stove when he fell asleep. At that time, he woke up, put it out, but he asked my client not to call the fire department and that he would, and they entered into a side agreement where he would pay $1,800 for them to repair it over, life at $300 a month, but they ended up adjusting that. And so he made those payments until a little before he moved out. And he has signed that agreement with them that he would pay that until it's satisfied. And now I guess he talked to his sister who's a lawyer in another state and decides he wants to fight the charges. But in our complaint itself, Your Honor, we attached the agreement, we attached the photos of the move out photos because some is, it generally just stems from the way he left the unit as well as the remainder of that agreement, which is also attached to the complaint.
What else would you like to say?
yes, Your Honor, I've been living at this apartment for 10 years. I retired in 2022, and but I was living there prior since 2015, and I never had an incident like this. But after I had a car accident, I had a hard time getting around, and that last surgery, I had a number of surgeries, but this last one was on my back, and I just want to say that particular evening, I had a cut board, cutting up onions on the stove. I had a flat cut board, and I made spaghetti, and then I put everything up, and I left the cut board on the stove, and that evening when I went to go to bed, the only thing I can think of is that maybe my hip must have went against that side of the stove and turned one of the knobs on. And then I went to bed, and then I woke up to the fire alarm, and immediately went to the kitchen and put the fire on top of the stove out. The cup, the thing that was on fire was a cupboard. It was a plastic cupboard. I put it out with water, and the only thing I can see that was damaged was the fan above the stove. And so I was thanking God it was a minor fire, that I caught it in time. And I stayed up for some hours to just making sure that everything that there was nothing, that the fire, everything was completely out. And then I called the management the next morning to let them know what happened about this accidental fire. And they all came over.
Give me 1 second.
Oh, this is.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And they all came over. And during this time, I noticed that the apartments around me were all being remodeled. And I had one of the older apartments. Well, they told me that they gave me an ultimatum. They said, hey, you're gonna have to move, because we're gonna call the fire department. And I said, I have no physical way able to move.
I will be soon. I have to go to court.
Or in no position to move. And then they said, well, if we called they asked me if I had renter's insurance. I told them I did. And then they told me, hey, you
I don't know why you wouldn't be responsible for the damage. Okay? Let me just stop it. Just let me stop you. I don't know why you would not be responsible for the damage. Just let me finish. I can't imagine a scenario based on what you've said so far where you're not going to be held responsible for the damage. It's a small amount of money. That being said, if you want, I'll set aside the default judgment, but it's going to be conditioned upon you paying costs to them in the amount of $150 within 7 days. So if you want me to do that, I'll do that for you. I really have a hard time finding good cause. There's a lack of meritorious defenses here. I mean,
well, the thing is,
sir,
I'm sorry.
I'll go ahead and order that. I'm going to set aside the default judgment conditioned upon defendant paying costs in the amount of $150 to the plaintiff on or before June the 22nd. And defendant will have then until, once paid, defendant will have until July, I believe, is the 4th on a Saturday.
It is, Your Honor. We're closed
So
on the
you'll have
3rd.
until July 6th to file an answer to complaint and affirmative defenses. So again, will you prepare that order for me, Ms. Ellison, please?
Absolutely, Your Honor. I just want to make it clear to him, if he doesn't pay that 150 by June 22nd, the default stands.
That clear to him. If you don't pay it by June the 22nd, then
No,
the default judgment will remain in force and effect.
that would be
Understand
awkward.
I'm trying to understand. I'm paying because I already paid monies already,
Sure,
and I'm trying to.
sure,
I'm not
sure.
But the
You should
clerks
have
tell
answered
me
the complaint. I
afterwards.
have a hard time finding good cause, and I'm not sure there's a meritorious defense at all. You want to argue this with him? That's fine. I'm gonna go out of my way and somehow, some way justify and rationalize in my brain why you didn't answer the complaint and find that good cause exists. But you're gonna pay them costs. So I'll set aside the default judgment conditioned upon you paying costs to the plaintiff in the amount of $150. So you'll have to make out a check to Brownstown Square Apartments, and it has to be received by their lawyers on or before June the 22nd. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And then,
Do I pay anything beyond that or?
we're then gonna start over. We're gonna have the case heard. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It doesn't sound like you have the defense, okay? Listen to me very carefully. Sounds like you're entitled to judge. I'll let you go out and argue all these things if you want,
But you're gonna lose.
but you didn't do what you were supposed to do when you were supposed to do it. So no, this will not apply toward any balance. It's for having them have to appear in court, file their, or first of all, prepare their default judgment, and then to come to court today and respond to this motion. Do you understand what I'm saying to you now?
I
You might not
understand,
like
I
it.
understand, sir, and I don't have an attorney representing me, but there is, I was going by the Sutton rule.
Let's stop a sec. I don't want to hear any of this. I'm telling you what my order is, okay? I should not be, could I be more clear with you? I shouldn't even be setting aside the default judgment.
True.
You should have answered the complaint when you were supposed to answer the complaint. You didn't. And I'm having a hard time finding good cause, and I'm having a hard time finding a meritorious defense. I'll go ahead and set aside the default judgment. It's conditioned upon you paying $150 in costs to Brownstown Square Apartments on or before June 22nd. If you don't make that payment to them on or before June 22nd, then the default judgment will remain in full force and effect. If you make the payment and you have until July the 6th to answer the complaint and file affirmative defenses,
Oh, I understand.
okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
And I'm trying to tell you this nicely because maybe, just maybe, you should go back into a breakout room right now and talk to Ms. Ellison and see if you can't resolve it. It'll save you $150 in the long run, plus whatever you can negotiate.
I understand, Your Honor.
Do you? I want to make sure.
Yes, Your Honor. That car accident I had, it really,
Okay, that's fair, but I'm just telling you, you have to pay $150 and that isn't going to apply to any balance owed.
I understand.
And then if you do that, you must file the answer to complaint and affirmative defenses by July 6th, okay?
Oh, I understand, Your Honor.
Will you send that over here today, please, Ms. Ellison?
Absolutely, Your Honor. Right after this hearing, I'll draft it
Alright,
up and
good
give it
enough.
over to you.
Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Your Honor.
Midland Credit versus John Rennie, 2601395.
Good morning, Your Honor. Matthew Kuipers on behalf of the plaintiff, P71348.